Can you have a successful relationship with a younger Filipina? I believe you can. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you some of the keys that I've used over the last 5 years to have a successful relationship with my wife and give you the insights to what I think some of us do wrong, some of us do right, and what we need to look out for, and so forth. So stick around and watch the rest of this video, and I think you'll learn something. First thing, you should be positive. You should be kind, romantic, and just an overall good person, and treat her like she's the most special person on the planet. A Filipino will never be as open with you as you are with her. She likes to keep her past private, but she is going to be bugging you to death about getting all your history. And like I was talking with a friend of mine this morning, his girl is always texting him to make sure, where are you at, what are you doing, how are you doing it, who are you doing it with, all that. And they are like that, but they will not share you any of what they're doing. Sometimes we have movie night here. I don't even know it till people start showing up and start walking in the door. And I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm here for movie night. I never knew about that, but they're just like that. But they want to know every single thing you're doing, but they're not going to share with you everything they're doing. But it's not a bad thing. It's just, I guess it's just their background, what they were raised, how they were raised. I will say it's hard to have a successful relationship if you're sitting around watching TV all day, not taking her out, not spending time with her, letting her have fun. And the reason for that is she's younger. She's going to want to do stuff that you don't maybe want to do. So you're going to have to accept that you're going to have to let your Filipina go out sometimes with her friends and family, have fun, enjoy life. And if you don't, she's just going to be sitting there in the house with you. You're being a homebody. And she's going to be texting. She's going to be on Facebook. She's going to be on Instagram. She's going to be on TikTok. And, because she's going to be bored watching English TV with you all day. And the reason I can say that is because I've had a stroke. I can't get around well. I don't go out with her much. We'll go out to eat once in a while, or we'll go to some type of park, and I have to take my wheelchair because, if I walk too far, I get tired and I'm stuck. So, as an older gentleman and you're here with a younger woman, just don't pressure her and not to spend time with her family, not to spend time with her friends. The guys that I see do that aren't very successful in their relationships. I'm going to tell you that right now. If you have a relationship with a Filipina and you're going to want her to spend all of her time with you and quit her job, I think it's a very good idea that you replace that income that she had, and to give it to her family or whatever she was doing with it. If not, that's going to cause a little bit of problem or a lot of problem in your relationship, depending. Also, go over and spend time with her family. Have her spend them spend some time with you, get to know you. Another thing, it's going to be a lot easier for her to talk to her friends in her native tongue, whether that be Tagalog, Visayan, or one of their many dialects as they speak. So when you go out with your buddies and you're going to be hanging out with other expats and talking about politics, and there's not going to be any other girls there by chance, it's a good thing to probably leave her at home or let her go out with her friends, because if you guys are going to be sitting there talking politics and everything and she's by herself, she's going to get very bored. And, when they go out together, it's always all the guys sit together on one side and all the girls sit together on the other end of the table, however it works out. They all talking in Visayan the whole time, and you guys are all talking in English. I think it's important to have that circle of friends where you can go out and you can talk to them in English. You guys can call each other on the phone. It can get boring here, especially, here where I live. My brother-in-laws are next door. My father-in-law's next door. My wife's here. All of her friends are here. All of her cousins are surrounding this whole area. So, they're all talking in Visayan all the time. And when they all come to the house and hang out and watch TV or whatever, they're talking in Visayan. And so I have nobody to talk to in English. So it's really nice to invite those guys over to your place. You go over to their place, and you guys just all have fun and enjoy it. And the girls will be having fun and enjoying talking to each other in Visayan. And sometimes we'll talk to each other together in English, but it's not as often as, everybody's just separated talking about their own thing. I don't talk about politics here. I've quit watching the news for the last 6 months. I'm so much more at peace. I'm much more at peace just spending my time with my wife and my daughter, sitting out on the porch and just enjoying the beauty of it here. Or get in my little van and go drive down to the ocean and sit there and just look at the ocean. It's a wonderful life here, but you have to know how to appreciate it. You have to know not another thing when you're driving around with your girlfriend or wife, whoever. She's not going to want to hear you cussing and yelling and calling Filipinos stupid because they don't know how to drive. And, that just get over that stuff and don't bring it with you because nobody's going to want to hear it here. And if you're riding around with her and you're putting down her people and saying bad things about them, how do you think that makes her feel? It doesn't make her feel very good. So try to avoid that at all costs. Just keep it inside you or scream, go into a room by yourself and scream when you come home, whatever you have to do. Stick around to the end here because I'm going to be talking about some very special key things that I think are very important when you're in a new relationship with a Filipina, and the positives and the negatives of it, so that you can kind of get an idea of what to look out for good and what to look for that's bad. So stick around for that. Okay, another thing, my wife takes care of this place. She keeps this place spotless. You could eat off the floors in here. She takes care of me and my daughter. She cooks, she cleans, she does laundry by hand. Even though we have a washing machine, she prefers to have it done by hand. And she'll get out there and she'll scrub everything. I mean, my clothes, I can be as smelly as I can be, sweating all day and everything. The next time I pick up that shirt to wear it smells like brand new. She just goes way above and beyond for everything here. When she wakes up in the morning, she starts working. She doesn't stop until the day ends. So that's why I don't mind her going out with her friends so much. She's in her 20s. She needs to go out and act like her age and enjoy time with her friends and whatever and family. You don't want her out at the bar every night drinking and hanging out with her whoever, but to let her have that some freedom. My wife, they take rice and the drinks and all this stuff, and they'll go up to Valencia, up the road. They'll go to the big park up there. They have like a place where you can buy stuff, and they'll buy a little cheap meat or something to go along with their rice and drinks. And it doesn't really cost anything, and they can sit around and chica, and which is gossip here, and talk about the local gossip, what's going on. My wife actually says us guys are worse at it than they are. But anyway, they do go up there and they have fun. And when she comes home, she's in a good mood. She's got to spend some time with her friends and hang out, blow off some steam, laugh. They go out and sing karaoke, whatever it is, Just let her have some freedom and don't have her locked up in the house all the time. And, I have guys that I'm friends with, and their wife or girlfriend has to be there 24/7 to take care of them. So they can point, hey, I want it. Give me a beer out of the refrigerator. Hey, go get me a glass of milk. Hey, make me a sandwich. Hey, you need to be a grown-up and spend some time on your own and let her have some time too. Whether she's your age or whether she's younger than you or whatever, you need to let her have that time, to be able to get away from you. You don't miss somebody if you're always there with them, right? So you might have been lonely back home in your country and, you couldn't find a woman that, you can be compatible with. I think over here you can, because these women are so lovely. They care about their family. They care about you. But I will say one thing about this while we're talking about. You're not going to come number one to your wife. Number one is going to be children. If you have any children together, that's going to be number one. After that is going to be family, and believe it or not, you're going to be last on the list. You might not think that, and you know she loves you and she treats you well and she's sweet and kind and loving, but family comes number one here. And, you know, we used to be like that back in, I remember when farmers lived all in the same house in generations. They took care of their grandparents. Their parents were working. They were kids. They grew up. Their parents became older. And it just was a cycle like that. And it's like that here. Everybody comes together and helps each other. Nobody's going to go hungry in this neighborhood. Not even me. Somebody is going to cook something tonight, and they're going to offer it to you if they know you don't have anything. I have people come over here all the time. There, you know, it's not tons of people, but there might be a couple that they didn't get, her husband didn't get paid yet from the company they worked for, or there some bill came in and they didn't have enough to buy food. If I can't let them come over here and have a little rice to keep them starving to death, then I'm not a good neighbor, right? So just think about that kind of thing. Another thing, when you're coming over here, say you met online or whatever, or even if you come here, you meet a Filipina, you start going around her family, around her, you're taking her out to eat. And, you know, the first couple dates, it's okay if she wants to bring her family or a couple of her friends, just to make sure, you know, that you're okay. That's understandable and that's acceptable. But when fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh date, she's bringing family, friends, every time you guys go out to eat and you're paying for everything, she's using you, man. You know, you've got to get your head straight. Think with this head, not the one below. I wanted to say, when you guys come over here, don't go around her family, don't go around her acting like Mr. Moneybags and buying everything they want and taking all their family out to dinner and doing all this stuff and going crazy, because that's going to be expected of you all the time. You're training her family that that's the way you are. When you quit doing that and you have to slow down, what's going to happen? You're going to become the bad guy, and you're going to be disliked by her family and by your girlfriend. So don't come over here and start slamming down money left and right and acting like you're Mr. Moneybags, because you're going to expect it to be Mr. Moneybags for the long run, and you don't want that. Okay? So I'm not saying that I'm Mr. Wonderful and I'm Mr. Perfect and I know everything about the Philippines. I'm not. But I know that I've seen too many times that has happened, and you will become the bad guy, and you don't want that. When you're going to be with a younger Filipina or one your age, it doesn't matter. Say you get married or whatever, you want to leave that lady better off than what you found her. When I was back working in the States before all this happened to me, I worked my behind off and I sent money to my wife, and we built a house here. It's nothing big, it's nothing extravagant, but we own our own place, and it makes it nice when you're retired that you don't have to pay rent. So that's not for everybody, and I'm not saying, you meet a girl online, you start sending her money to build a house and you've never even met her. You want to be with that woman and know that you guys, get along, that you click, that, you have that attraction for each other. If not, you don't want to get in a mess and build a house over here and then you end up coming over here and she won't even let you live there. I mean, stuff happens crazily. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen in other countries, because it does. It happens all over the world. But I think it's pretty prevalent here that some guys just go crazy. And you can't blame a poor Filipina that doesn't have anything. Maybe she's with a boyfriend. Maybe she has a husband. And you see her online and you're like, hey, I seen you on Facebook and I think you're so beautiful and I want to be with you and everything. And she's like, oh, let me think about this, you know. We're starving right now. And you say, oh, well, let me send you some money. Let me help you out. And you start doing that. And she's like, oh, okay. You know, and then these guys build a whole entire house, give her tons of money. They show up here and you're not allowed on the property. And she'll go get the police or the barangay captain and have you removed. I'm not saying they're all like that at all. I'm just saying don't be a fool. Don't let these, you know, somebody attract you and then you just lose your mind and just give her everything you have. Be smart, man. I mean, just because you're lonely doesn't mean you have to be ignorant, you know. Be smart. Do the right thing. And again, I'll say think with this head, not with the other one. It's very easy to fall in love with a beautiful face, a beautiful body. But there, you know, as an older man, you've been through life. You know there's a difference there. And you need to, you know, pay attention. And, you know, when you come here, you take her to the mall. Does she want to buy everything in sight? Oh, I'd love to have those shoes. Oh, can I get that dress? Oh, can we go over here and get that? Or, oh my God, my family is having a major catastrophe and we have to have money right away. Can you be able to be there and help us out? Because we really need this right now. Be smart. I don't know, it's kind of like I had a guy that used to work for me. And he'd always call me telling me that his mother died, his grandmother died, this person died. I was like, what's wrong? I mean, why can't you come to work? What's going on? Oh, well, my mom died. Really? Your mom's died 3 times this year. Get to work or you don't have a job anymore. And it's the same here, you know. My mom needs a surgery. My mom needs a surgery. My uncle needs a surgery. My sister needs a surgery. All of us right away. You need the money right away. The roof blew off the house yesterday. We need money right away. I'm not saying you can't be with a Filipina and be happy. I'm saying be smart. Think about this when you're dating a Filipina. What if something happens and she gets pregnant? Maybe you didn't want to have a child because you're an older man, but now you're going to have a child. Is she going to be a good mother to that child? Is she somebody you wouldn't want to have raise your child? Might be a good idea to think about before you jump deep into this relationship. If you become ill, in my case I have, is she going to be the kind of woman that's going to stick around and take care of you? Or is she going to be the kind of woman that's going to say, I ain't dealing with all this, I'm gone. You're on your own. And that happens here. It happens everywhere in the world. But I'm just saying, if you're dating a Filipino, you're dating an Australian, you're dating a girl from America, Chinese girl, whatever, think about what you're doing. Think about what type of person you're getting in with. You know, I never thought of this when I had my first daughter, but I should have thought about this. Is this the kind of woman that I want to be around at least for the next 18 years, even if we're not in a relationship, that I'm going to be around with this woman for the next 18 years and have to deal with her? It's going to be the same if you had a kid here. You know, are you ready? Are you, at your age, ready to chase a child around the house? Are you ready for all the screaming and crying and, you know, them acting like a kid? Are you going to be able to handle it when they get sugared up and they're running around in circles screaming in the house and you're trying to watch TV? Is that a life you want? You might want to think about that. You might want to ask her what her plans are for the future. Does she want children? if she's a younger Filipina, the biggest thing she wants to do is get married, have a family. So, is that something you want? If it's not, you better tell her now before you get deep into this relationship. And then you're in love, she's in love, and you know it's not going to work. I've seen it here before. I've seen a girl leave a guy because he doesn't want to have a child, and she wants to have a child, and she goes and finds her another guy to be with, whether it be a Filipino or an expat, whatever. So there's a lot of things to consider and sit down and think about when you find, okay, I want to go retire in the Philippines. I want to find a good woman to go over there and be with. So I'm going to go on one of these dating websites and I'm going to find somebody. Well, let me tell you what happened to me. I dated a girl on the phone, over the internet, whatever, Skype, Facebook. And I used to talk to her every day. I didn't send her a ton of money, maybe 50 or $100 a month, but I was sending her money. And she would talk to me about an hour a day because she said she worked and, you know, that was her time limit. Well, this went on for a year. And I said, okay, I'm going to take off and go to the Philippines. I'm going to surprise her. And, you know, let's hit this thing off and get it going. So I fly over. I land. I go to Cebu, where she's from. I have her address because I've sent her stuff before. I go to her house. Guess what? She's kissing her boyfriend goodbye because he's going to work. And I've been sending money for a year. And he's probably been laying right beside her while she's talking to me at night. Her saying she loves me. Oh, I can't wait for you to be here. Oh, we're going to have such good times together. It's going to be so wonderful. I mean, don't be a dummy. And I was a dummy for that year. I didn't catch it. But she was smart. Her family talked to me. And they told me she is with nobody. Nobody, she doesn't have a boyfriend. And he lived right there in the house with them. Come on. You know? Why are they doing that? Because she's probably talking to 3, 4, 5 guys during the day. Tell them, oh, she has 1 hour to talk, and that's it. And that's how she's making a living. When you're out and about, too, she's going to watch you. Say you're in a restaurant and you're really rude to the waitresses. Or you're in a store and you ask for an item and they say they're out of stock and you get very rude. Or you're at immigration. Be a nice guy, man. You know, she's looking up to you and she wants you to be her man, her husband, her boyfriend, whatever that is. And she's going to start thinking, God, Lord, do I really want to be with this guy? If he's treating them like that, how long is it going to be before he starts treating me like that? And just don't be that guy. Be a nice guy. Be kind. Be loving to her and other people. Just be kind. You know, it doesn't take that much, you know, to be a nice person. Let me ask you this: when you're talking to that girl online, and she says, "Hey, I want to meet you at the airport when you get here," and then you get here, and she's got a suitcase with her. You know, why do you have a suitcase with you? Oh, I thought we were moving in together. And you're like, whoa, wait a minute. You don't want to jump into one of those because you need to, like I said before earlier in the video, you need to make sure that you click. You need to make sure that you can get along. You don't want to just instantly move in with the girl. I would even go this far to tell you guys, if I were you, I would come to the Philippines. If you're going to retire here, start settling in, get your place, do whatever. Date several girls. You don't have to date just one. Date several girls, maybe. I'm not saying go and be a sexpat and try to sleep with as many women as you can. I'm just saying go on a few dates and make sure that you're compatible before you get into something serious. And then wait a few months. She doesn't need to move in with you tomorrow or next week. You guys can take some time, get to know each other. You know, is this the type of woman I want to be with? Don't jump in there. These are some of the things that I mentioned earlier in the video that I was going to share with you at the end of the video, because I think it's very important that you be smart.
Hi, I'm Monty Crew.
Hi, and I'm Argel Crew.
We're a married couple living in the Philippines.
We will be covering topics about everyday life here in the Philippines. So if you are planning to visit, move to, or retire here in the Philippines,
Tap that subscription button, tap that bell notification so you don't miss out on anything.